Once you get in connection with the piece, it's hard to leave it. My partner will say, you should be going to bed now, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm Halima Cassell, I'm an artist stroke sculptor. We are here today at Glyndebourne with some of my sculptures. I would describe my work as very connected to nature and architecture and my love and passion for pattern, but in a very intense way where I love carving into the surface of the form quite deeply, and that interplay with light and the planes of the surfaces of the sculpture kind of creating this ever-changing drama within the piece. The first steps with working with Glyndebourne was to come on site and see the space, to have a kind of understanding about location and space. With certain sculptures, it's quite important, their location, their surrounding. Hurricane behind me, it was lovely with the white lilies on the lake and the colouring of the sculpture, and also Primavera in the rose garden. So having those linkage within the surroundings is quite important. I find inspiration from nature and from beautiful architecture around the world, and even fabric flowing, or someone's hair, the way it flows, and just the patterning, when you walk on the beach, what the sand dunes are doing, and just pattern found in everything around you, really. Some of the pieces are singular pieces and standalone pieces, and other pieces like Gathering and Colony and Memento Mori are more kind of installation pieces where there's 2 or more pieces. For instance, Gathering is this idea of coming together, meeting together, and Colony again is that kind of like idea of sitting amongst the grass and having that time together. And Memento Mori is more like a bud growing out of the earth, and it's almost flame-like, and the piece was created with this idea of, enjoying life and also being aware of death. Make the most of being here and enjoying yourself, and that idea came about when 2 of my very close friends had passed away in the same year, and it's about celebrating life, and the idea is that you walk through them and you're almost walking through a gateway of, that appreciation of life and understanding of death. The journey that I've gone through with my work has been a quite interesting one. Working with the different materials, each material has its kind of restrictions, its advantages and disadvantages, and with working with that, with the material, opens up the new possibilities. So you get this continuous journey and development through the work with that exploration with the various materials. When I'm making a piece, the design process is very enjoyable. It's very connecting to my subconscious and coming out with designs of thoughts, that have been collected over a period of time, and then actually mapping the piece onto the clay. That's when I have to be very focused and get everything as accurate as I possibly can. But when it comes to the carving stage, it's very therapeutic. It's a very slow process, but it's very enjoyable, and it's hard to leave the piece. You think, well, I'll just do another couple of hours till I carve out that section, or I've taken that bit deeper, and before you know it, it's been like more like 6-7 hours, and you have to push yourself away. But it's not a kind of thing you can come back and forth from constantly. It has to be done over a long period of time, because once you've left it, the following day you have to reconnect with the piece. When I make sculpture, I always think, I'd like people to touch it. And what's lovely here at Glyndebourne, you can touch the work, and it's really important to be able to touch and to connect. If you've got an exhibition in a museum or in a gallery, there's lots of no-touch signs. A lot of feedback that I get back is like, the work's asking to be touched, and it's, quite torturous not being able to touch it. I've always had a great passion and joy for maths and art, and I think that has naturally been the journey that I've gone on. I started off with clay at secondary school, and then at university I had various different options with metal and wood, and I was really inspired by various artists who use maths and art combination within their paintings. For me, the way I see things is very 3D. So something what is a very quick 2D sketch quite instantly becomes 3D to me in my head. So carving into a block of stone doesn't faze me, or carving into a beautiful chunk of oak doesn't, I can see the sculpture within the form. So it's just having the appropriate tools and safety gear.